Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Affinity Legends of Wall Street trading room. Just got a couple of stocks that are gapping up this morning. I'm going to talk a little bit about the markets, and then I'm going to jump into some of the stocks that are just gapping. Market is not really, I would have thought that yesterday, with that bullish green bar that we made yesterday, going into this gap zone, that we would have gapped up today, but it's actually more bearish that we didn't. If we had gapped up, I would have said fade the gap. Since we didn't gap up, okay, and we've actually gone flat, I'm going to watch for a move back to the highs, back to 108.80. Otherwise, I'm going to watch for a 5-minute low break. Okay, so we're going to watch 5-minute high and low breaks. So we're watching the 5-minute high and 5-minute low breaks. Okay, and couple of stocks that I put up on the list already. I'm going to talk about them, but I want to just draw a little bit of what I think this chart is doing here. Okay, so what I think is going on here in the markets. Okay, and I'm just going to do that on a separate whiteboard. Okay, so what we're looking for and what's happened, and this was from about a week ago. So we fast forwarded another week. So what's happened since this is what's called an ascending wedge. Okay, so that's where we are. So today is Wednesday, okay? And yesterday, okay, that was yesterday. Today, we are gapping down slightly, okay? So what I would expect is either if we do make a push back up to the high, we're going to be watching for the rejection and the return to this being a red bar. So we're going to wait for that to be like that. Once it goes red, if we turn red, and these are the if-then statements, if we go red, we short. Okay, so if we go red, we short. Pardon for the inverse capital letters. If we go red, we short. Okay, tomorrow I would really, we're going to have a game plan for tomorrow when the Fed actually announces and has the meeting. But my game plan is to watch the market to see if it's going to revisit the highs, reject, and if we go red, we're going to be setting up for some beautiful shorts. Now, guys, what are some of the gap trades? What are some of the gap stocks? Our bread and butter trades. Okay, what are some of those trades for today? Guys, I love our, okay, so yes, gapping up. Larry, I love it. FIT, right? I love that you're coming up with good stocks. FIT might be I think FIT is going to be a check mark play, okay? That's what it tends to do, right? So FIT might do exactly what it did, what it was supposed to do yesterday, which it did yesterday. It just kind of screwed me up a little bit, okay? Which is FIT should do something like that, okay? HPQ, let's see HPQ. Let's look at FIT. FIT yesterday pulled back, and by the end of the day, went back and revisited the high. Unfortunately, I bailed on FIT on that bar. Once that bar didn't trigger, I just bailed on it. And then sure enough, it worked. Okay, that was today it's already made a check mark pre-market. I think FIT's got clear air between $34, which is already triggered, and $35, potentially even $36. And with an all-time resistance level of 37, which is that prior high. Okay, it came off of a triple bottom. Okay, the next one is HPQ. HPQ has a great chart. It's got a low, a green reversal bar, and possibly triggering up on that green reversal bar, which means it could run up to 28.80. So we got FIT and HPQ, okay? This is a daily trigger. It's already triggered on the daily. Now, in terms of our bearish stocks, we have FDX. Guys, FedEx is gapping down to 151.70, was at 148 at the low. So 151.70 puts it right in there. At some point, it was down to 148, which was right at the low. So it gapped onto support, and it's now at around 50% of its gap. I would watch for FedEx most likely to make a move back down to these pre-market lows. And by the way, guys, why is FedEx an important stock? It's a transport, but it really is a gauge for the overall economy because so much is shipped by mail order these days. Okay. ORCL. You know, I don't really see anything on ORCL. It is gapping up, so I will put it on the gap list. I just don't know how to play it. ORCL, I'm going to just say it is a long watch, possible check mark. I'd watch that one for a check mark. We got a lot of great stocks. Some other stocks that I want to point out is Ford, F-O-R-D. Just a great daily chart. Okay, F-O-R-D, great daily chart. I just think that this is a slow mover, but it should head back up to 225. Is anybody else getting double sounds? Okay, so it's just you, Erwin. BP, guys. BP, I think all these oil stocks have the same kind of a pattern. This bottom, double bottom, triple bottom. These really could be a good buy. So BP gapping up. We're going to watch that one too. STRZA. Guys, what do we think BABA is going to do today? Let's take a look at BABA. BABA is already gapping up. I mean, they ripped Barron's a new whatever. I'm not going to say it. But I would say Barron's is going to close red about 30% of this bar's range. So that's just something fun to watch. I think BABA is going to actually go down 30%. Probably going to close at around 63.50. Yeah, that's the STRZA being bought by AMC. Yeah, the other one that was a takeover, which was the ADEP. That's a takeover. Frankie pointed that one out as a takeover at just about $13. So I really don't know how to play those. They generally get stuck in a very tight range, and you can scalp them. All right. So I think we got a lot to look at. My game plan for the whole day. Okay, and I'm just going to put this in orange right now, so just so that we highlight it. I'm going to watch for 5-minute high and low breaks on the markets. Okay, and I'm also going to watch FedEx. Okay, so guys, let's trade well. The market's going to be a little bit muted. I also want to update this, right? So FOMC meeting, Disney long watch. Okay. All right, everybody. Tomorrow is the FOMC. Okay, so we're going to watch for muted action, and meaning that the market's probably not going to. Individual stocks will be moving, but the market might not move as much as we'd expect, as everybody's waiting for what the FOMC is going to be doing tomorrow. Trade well, everybody, and market will open in 1 minute. I'm going to put on the actual cues. Guys, by the way, if we start to sell off, what are we going to watch? What do we watch if we want to see if the sell-off is real? Anybody? We watch the UVXY, right? We're going to watch that UVXY or the VXX if you're going to trade it. I don't like trading the UVXY. I would much prefer to trade the VXX. Okay, if you notice the UVXY, big gap down, and it's already moving higher on the 5-minute basis, on the 1-minute basis. Let's look at the VIX. If you were to play this as a gap, you'd expect this gap to fade up. On a big red bar down, a gap down would be a novice gap. You would expect it to fade up. Obviously, these things don't act like normal stocks. Let's see PDCO. That's an interesting chart. I'm going to watch FedEx here. FDX. Guys, FedEx looks like a gap fade. But I'm going to give it a few more minutes. I don't want to jump into anything. I want to give it about 5 minutes. Because I do the right thing. FedEx can go either way because it's sitting right on its moving averages. So far, guys, the Qs have been going up. That might not continue, but so far they've been holding up for the first 3 minutes. Very indecisive market, guys, so I'm just sitting on my hands. John Lancey with the WUBA. You're a daring man to go into WUBA. That is definitely a John Lancey. Oh, that's you. You're scaring me. Okay, guys, so far the markets are doing what I thought they would do, which is retest the highs, right? So we're making that first move up, which is the retest the highs, move up. Now, the key is going to be question whether we break the highs or do we... Guys, FedEx selling off. FedEx selling off. Gap and go down triggered on FedEx, guys. That was so fast. It triggered down so hard. I mean, great play if you caught it. I looked away for a second, guys, and FedEx dumped. This is a great trigger for a much bigger move if we can get it. So put out your offers on FedEx in case it bounces up to about here, 150.50. If it breaks the 5-minute low, FedEx could get really ugly. You don't want to short it down here. You want to short it somewhere in the middle of that bar. Now, if you do short it near the bottom of the bar and it goes down and breaks the 5-minute low, you're fine. Okay? The problem is that if it doesn't break the 5-minute low, your stop is really far away. That's the reason why you want to give it a little bit of a bounce and probably a 1-minute trigger on the FDX. This is a big 1-minute bar. It dropped from 52 down to 50 in 1 minute. From 51.50 down to 50. Just one. I mean, a crazy bar. It's $1.50, right? Drop. Watch the markets here, though, guys. Look at the markets. They hit that high and they rejected off the high. You see that, guys? Like that was if you had the cojones to buy the VIX, the VXX when it spiked up there, probably a great entry on the VIX. Guys, let's see if FedEx is bouncing into our short area. All right, guys, I'm going to take it as soon as it triggers down on the 1 minute. The problem I'm a little bit concerned with is that it may drop so fast that it won't matter. Like, I'm waiting for it to cross this line. Okay, I'm waiting for it to cross that line. That would be a trigger. Okay, it's just about to trigger now. Okay, it's got to trigger and close down. Okay, and the other thing I want you to realize is that if this red bar is right, so this is 1, 2, this was the market open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably this second bar is going to close green. So we got about 1 more minute before that bar, this 5-minute bar is closed. So we're okay to wait. I want you to fight the urge to chase until things are actually going in that direction and you go with them in that direction. Now I think that the target on this is going to be 147.50, which would be right around 148. Which would be 1 more jig down, and then I think this play is done. Okay, so we got our 5 minutes. Now we should have our impulse down. But it has not triggered yet. It's hanging right at our trigger line. Okay, guys, look, this bar is formed. You see it? Next green bar is, next 5-minute bar is formed. Let's see if it starts to turn red. Stop on this would be above that bar's high. Still technically hasn't triggered yet, by the way. The trigger would now be here. I'm going to move into other things like Fitbit, just to watch it. Fitbit, guys, 5-minute low break. Fitbit. See, guys, that's why we wait for triggers, guys. Look at FedEx. That's why we wait for triggers. Still no good. FedEx looks like it's starting to trigger. Okay, guys, FedEx has a 1-minute trigger. FedEx has a 1-minute trigger. It needs to break this next 1-minute bar's low. Still no 5-minute bar trigger. Let's see the Qs. Qs are selling off. And strangely, the VIX is also going down. Let's see FedEx. Let's see if FedEx triggers here, because this could be the trigger down on FedEx. I have a marker lot. Okay, I have a marker lot with a stop above 150.81. Now, this is a lot easier for it to trigger on the 5-minute because the 5-minute trigger is below 150 now. Fitbit, guys, I took a marker lot short of Fitbit, okay, when it broke above this bar's low. So Fitbit triggered down, possibly for gap fade. That was crazy. Now I sound like my son. That was crazy. God forbid it got to my target. I didn't even get to add. I only had a marker lot. All right, guys, FedEx looks like it's rolling over, guys. FedEx starting to go. 5-minute basis, possible trigger. Here we go, guys. There goes FedEx. All right, beautiful. Covering some. Covering. Woohoo! Timber. Guys, did you like that? Isn't that crazy how we watched that like right from start to finish? Whoa, that was quick. That's the way that stock moves. Okay, guys, and don't worry. I mean, it's going to keep going down probably. It's not going to reverse on a dime. We should get back down into this tail area. The only way you can get out and cover in that is if you have a bid already out there near the prior low. Guys, the VIX just spruced up. Possibly consider a long on the VIX. 3 bars down on the VIX, possible 5-minute trigger on the VIX. Okay, Fitbit acting odd, but I think Fitbit could be a green bar that makes another 3 bars red. FedEx. I think FedEx makes another impulse down. I just would have liked to have covered more. I bought some VIX, VXX, guys, based on the fact that the market should have topped out and that it wasn't, there was a, this is a gap play. So I bought some VXX, not a huge amount. Okay, this is the first resistance area on the VIX. So usually it'll make a pause and then it'll make another big impulse up. As soon as the VIX goes green, it should make a move to fade the gap. Let's see, tap. Guys, if the VIX goes green and breaks out above the 5-minute high, then I will add. There it goes. There goes the VIX going green. Okay, guys, waiting for the VIX. I'm still long a little bit of the VIX. FedEx covered most of my short, but I still have some short on FedEx. If FedEx doesn't make an impulse down soon, I'm just going to cover the whole thing. Okay, so FedEx could make a lower high, and then that would be a good cover. Guys, the VIX has just shot up another 10 cents. FedEx is probably going to roll over and go down. Come on, FedEx. Guys, I've been really dogged in like not covering my positions until they hit my targets, which is sometimes has cost me money lately. On a few occasions, it's really screwed me up because I've also kept my stops, which have then cost me money, right? FedEx just rejected me. TAP, T-A-P. Guys, TAP blasting off, T-A-P. Very good call on the 5-minute high break on TAP. That was a good gap and go. Guys, we had so many good ideas. TAP, gap and go. Right? Gap and go is a 5-minute high break. 5-minute high break. Beautiful play. Friggin' FedEx, every time it gets down there, it rejects me. I think I put my targets a little bit too far away. If it don't go down here now, I'll call it quits. It's going to be hard for FedEx to trigger now on the 5-minute with that long bottoming wick. Guys, Fitbit, no longer a gap fade, right? It's doing that check mark. Check mark on Fitbit. The VXX, guys, you might have a reload on the VXX here. Watch the VXX for a reload. Let's see what the QQQ looks like. Bounce on the Qs. I'm going to reload. I'm going to buy some more on the VIX. Oh, guys, just covered some FedEx. FedEx just moved down. I know I covered FedEx because it just hit my targets. Woohoo! FedEx! You love it? Love it, guys. Wasn't that awesome? Okay, guys, VIX breaking out above the high. See the QQQ, guys? All right, guys, so I'm long the VIX. I only have 100 shares left on the VIX, but my price is incredibly good. I'm going to wait for it to pull back again. I think it's going to fade the gap and could potentially make a very, very big green day. JNUG is something for Gilmore. JNUG broke the 5-minute high and blasted off. I don't know how Gilmore missed it. Might be a good short right now, but I mean, right now, overall, that was a beautiful 5-minute high break. Guys, I'm going to start going through some of my other ideas because I've already made a good chunk of my profit, okay? I've already made a good chunk of profit. And my two trades that were the best trades for me today were FedEx, which, by the way, guys, is breaking the low right now. So I, as usual, have gotten out way too soon. I mean, you know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And every day I get out too soon on my trades. I mean, beautiful short on this. I mean, look at this thing go, guys. My target is 148, but I took the profit at the lows. Oh, now I'm a spectator. Anybody catch FedEx? And please tell me you caught FedEx. Michael Gargano, are you listening? Can you call John Streetman? Let me see the VXX. Right now, I'm in it still. I haven't sold it yet. No, don't sell it, Erwin. It's fine. It's still going up. VXX is rocketing. I wish I had more. Guys, look at the UVXY. UVXY. I'm selling my VXX right now, so I'm selling half actually of my 100 shares, which means I have 50. Staying with some of it. All right, Erwin, sell half. Erwin, sell half. Earth to Erwin. Done. We have to play volleyball, Erwin. Okay, guys, that's why we sold half. It just made another impulse up. I wish I had bought more. All right, guys, I'm selling some more of my VIX. I wish I had more to sell, but I don't. Made a beautiful amount of money, guys, in an hour. Not even a half hour. I mean, I would have made a lot more. I would have made a lot more had I kept FedEx, but you know what? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It actually hit my target at 148. FedEx, beautiful play, guys. I wish I had 1,000 shares of that. I only had 400 shares at the most. Beautiful on FedEx. Well, I had the VIX, so didn't play the UVXY because I don't think that our students should really trade it. But I did have the VIX from $22.44. Actually, what was the exact price I had it at? It was right above that 5-minute high, $22.50, and it ran up to $23. Is that Denise? DL is Denise, right? I know you trade big, right? All right, guys, so we came right into target, which was gap fade. Beautiful fade on the VXX. Okay? Beautiful fade on the VXX. I already made my money for the day. Can stop now. FedEx and the VXX. Let me go through our other ideas. Let's see what happened with Fitbit. Fitbit not looking bad, looking like a check mark, so that probably could still work. Fitbit still looking like a check mark. By the way, Fitbit was my only losing trade. I lost $50 on that on 100 shares. And I was up about $20, $30, but on that one bar, I went from being up $20 to $30 to being down $20 to $30 and then getting stopped out. Crazy. VIX was my biggest trade. That's the one I made the most money on. Fitbit might get ready to go, guys. So let me go through these each. So I'm not going to say Fitbit is it's a gap and go up. It did do a little fade. Tap. Guys, Tap was a beast. Tap. T-A-P. T-A-P. Okay, beautiful 5-minute high break and blast off. Tap. Keep an eye on Tap for the rest of the day. Let's take a look at ITCI. That was one of the low price ones. ITCI was a big gap up on ITCI. Guys, ITCI is also a good one. Look at how that just triggered. We missed it because I was bullshitting. I don't know why. I can't really give any comments on Facebook. I think Facebook looks lower, so I'd be careful on Facebook for anybody. Market bounced. I'm going to say that we're probably going to be good on the VIX again. There's going to be another jig down probably on the VIX. This is a good place to try that.
Good morning. What's up?
What's up, Kenny?
So, hey, I just want to talk about some of those bottom fish plays that we were looking at. You know, I'm not a big fan of holding overnights, but I was talking about how these things were so beat up and we caught some nice bottoms where these were those plays where if you wanted to get a little bit aggressive and hang on to some, Baidu, Win, GoPro, Alibaba, the WUBA. It all starts with the reversals. You know, once you see the stock reverse and hang in there, stay strong, usually that gives you a decent bottom where you'll get some follow through the next day. Just for next time, remember when we're picking up some stocks off lows or whatever, that obviously if you would have bought just 2 calls and a few of those stocks, you're up 100% across the board, especially in the Baidu. Buddy of mine here is asking why the UVXY was so busted yesterday. You didn't get any counter moves to the upside. Well, remember, it's a busted product. It's built to go down. It was fun on the way up here for a while because VIX was going nuts. But once the VIX starts to come in and even go sideways, this thing will disintegrate and go back to its normal ways. So they trade futures contracts 2 months out, something called contango. So once they're dumping the contracts for 2 months out, this thing has no choice but to get slaughtered. And you would think going into the Fed meeting, this would be the most volatile. This would be the time where it's spiking. But it's showing, the VIX is telling you a whole different story, that this interest rate move is pretty much priced in. So if we get a spike down tomorrow, I'd be looking to buy in the market unless the UVXY is flying high. But yeah, it was a pretty amazing day. I haven't even mentioned Sina. I mean, all the Chinese stocks, as much as I hate them all, yesterday was a perfect example of how reversals turn into swing trades. Look at Cena, and GoPro, and Win, LVS, Baidu. All turned out to be monster trades. Keep that in mind for next time when we're picking up some reversals. And that's also another reason that if you have like a small amount of shares, you know, it's hard to, you got 100 shares, really not much you can do with it. But, you know, if you had 300 shares and you made some decent money, you hang on to 100 overnight, what's the worst that can happen? Stock gap's down a buck or two. Not going to be the end of the world. We're on to something with the also GDXJ was a reversal a couple of days ago. Remember 1850? Stock's at $20 now, 2015. So reversals go so far to giving you plays, not just for the day, but, you know, for 2, maybe 3 days. Because if you find a good reversal, it becomes a short squeeze. Next thing you know, you get a stock that starts to really come back. And you might have a monster on your hand, especially if you're trading the options. Well, then, you know, let's take a look at RIG even. You know, it's up 3 points since that, you know, well, actually it's up 4 points since that day when it had the bad news and reversed. That stock's been pretty good lately. Let's not forget about that BMY that day at 56.80. Stock's at $60 now. So, you know, there you go. You'll see as time goes on how these reversals are not only just great trades for the day, but they turn into swing trades. Now, I wouldn't be holding anything for the next 2 days. But I don't know. I think people are missing the big picture. We had a correction, and it might be over. We got the 10% down, and now we could be right back to, you know, slow grind higher for the next 18 months. I'm looking to go, you know, I'm looking to put a big trade on tomorrow if we do sell off on the, well, that's, if they don't raise interest rates, I think the market might go down because it'll just be frustration and more uncertainty back into the market. Then all we're going to be doing is waiting for December. Or maybe they say, hey, look, they're never going to raise interest rates. Let's just buy stocks. Again, I don't know. I mean, I'm just hypothesizing. What I do know is how to find these reversals, and they're phenomenal. I had one that didn't work yesterday, kind of hurt because I got a little aggressive, was late in the day on cons. But, you know, if they work at it 8 out of 10 times and you keep your stops in place and you don't get crazy. I mean, look at Netflix. That was $96.70 when we bought it. Maybe you bought a $98 call for $1 and change, and you decide to hold on to a couple of calls. You know, they're worth $5 now, $6 now, $12. Still going higher. By the way, Win goes up when China's strong also, because the Chinese, they love their gambling. They go hand in hand. I mean, look at the move in Win. We picked that right off, I think, a 52-week low the other day. I haven't traded that stock in 5 years. We were in there at $67, right off the lows. So, and they're all still going. Win, Baidu still strong. I needed the UVXY to break under 59 and the QQQ to stay above 104.80 for a couple of days to get into that bullish frame of mind again. I'm almost there. And also the idea is nobody, computers, humans, the matrix, nobody wants to let this market go back up without them. So that's why you're going to see, not only is it going to be a short covering rally, but it's going to be, I'm not going to miss the boat this time rally. So legitimately, we could be up 1,000 points within 10 days because people are going to frantically come piling back into the market, angrily, oh, I can't say that word, but they're going to be aggressively, let's say, to use that word, aggressively buying the market. The emotion of I don't want to miss the boat is incredible, coupled with the fact that people are still betting that in a healthy market, we have to test lows and then build a rally from there. Do we? Does anybody really think we're going to go, the Qs are going to go back to $85 this year? Come on. That was a flash crash, glitch in the matrix. That print's not going to be seen, I would say, ever again. But, you know, with the market, you can't say that. By the way, if you are thinking long-term bullish, we got a chance to buy those QQQ calls. Remember the 120s for January 2017? Yeah, don't forget about those. Because if we're back on track, guys, and I know this sounds insane, I think the Q's got another 37 points that can go up in the next 493 days. So the 120s for like $4. I'm bidding them for 385. So if they dip, I can get it back in. The way I look at it, if I could get these 120s for 385, I'm going to be able to sell them at probably $20 500 days from now. It's one of the trades I'm going to start putting together. But I don't think anybody here is looking 493 days into the future. By the way, the greatest stock, you know, UVXY selling naked calls, that was my bread and butter for a while there until we finally got some volatility. But let me tell you something. Because of the volatility that was seen the last couple of weeks, they've made so many new contracts on the UVXY. So if you've got some money and you want to sit around and wait for a couple of $1,000, they have 170 calls on the UVXY now for January, which are still $4. They were at 15 the other day. They missed a nice chunk that you could have made already. But once we get past this interest rate meeting, let that day play out however it does. Volatility spikes, or if it doesn't spike, I still think the UVXY is a busted product. It's built to go down. So hopefully it spikes up so we can sell some premium on it again. Just to throw this out there, generally CINA, and again, I don't trade stocks that are up. Well, first of all, I don't trade stocks that are up 5% for the day. Second of all, I don't trade stocks that we just owned 2 days ago, you know, 12% ago. I don't chase stocks. And this Cena is notoriously a stock that'll give half its day back out of nowhere. So if you're not in it from the get on the Cena, I don't even watch that stock. But Alibaba's still in a nice short squeeze. People are, trust me, I'm a hater of Alibaba. So if I was short, I would have been covering yesterday. That's why that trade was so amazing yesterday. The real trigger is trying to find these stocks that have been beaten down. You understand? The more they've been beaten down, even a Netflix, it was down 25 points, or Baidu, or GoPro. The more they're beaten down, the more the snapback when the short squeeze starts. That's why those reversals work even better when you find a stock that's been destroyed. You get the faithful who are buying the dip, praying and hoping that they can dollar cost average out of a bad position. You got shorts covering. Maybe you got some new money coming in. A lot of different factors. That's why you get these nice moves. And eventually, if you believe in the global economy that's going to come back, commodities will have to make a move back higher. So one of these days, we're going to catch the U.S. steel when it reverses and doesn't just suck. Alcoa is finally, hanging in there now that people are realizing it's not just an aluminum company. It makes stuff, plain parts. They got a new kind of aluminum. I still love the Alcoa, especially at these levels. So just to put it in perspective, I had a friend who he sold 300 UVXY calls. It cost him $1.5 million to lock up 300 calls. But you know what? He sold 300 calls for about $12 each and covered them yesterday at 4 or whatever it was. So, just put it in perspective, obviously. The trade was the trade. It worked. But you got to lay out what happened with the UVXY because of the volatility. And again, I think my conspiracy theory is once you find something that's not easy money, but something that's pretty close to it, selling calls on UVXY has been a winner up until that one moment where it wasn't. They changed the margin requirements from 25% to 100%. So you got to have some serious cash if you want to even sell two calls, even 100 points out of the money. So for 300 calls, he had $1.5 million wrapped up in that trade to make 70 grand. Not a bad move, not a bad trade, but you got to lock up 1.5 mil for that kind of a position. Or just put it in perspective, locking up $105,000 to try to make 7 grand, or locking up $10,000 to make $700, which is where most of us are. Anyway, now you're going to start to witness I think he's got like a $10 million account. But what you're going to witness now in UVXY is that moment that we're experiencing right now. Why is this even going down still, right? You're thinking the market should be at the most volatile. UVXY is a busted product because it trades futures contracts 2 months out. So the futures contracts are crashing. So the UVXY has no other choice but to crash along with it. It's all anticipation. The players, the people that are important, the S&P put players, they're cashing out. So this thing just disintegrates with no remorse. So there you go. Hey, let's talk about that other bottom fish. Remember we were talking about the Russian Google? Take a look at the YNDX from 3 days ago, right? We were trading that stock, looking like a nice bottom, a reversal, had a monster spike. By the way, win's up 4 points now. That stock hasn't had a 4-point day in a while. Look at the chart on the win. 52-week low 3 days ago. That's where we were trading it. All right, here come the gardeners. I'll be back in a bit. I don't know how that could happen. Was there a margin requirement? That's why they did that to you? Dealing with Schwab, chances are not good for anything positive to happen. But why would they do that in your account? Why? I'll tell you right now, most of the moves that this market made already are, I don't see any reason to be trading right now anyway. You know, most of this stuff is up too much. Certainly not buying Win or GoPro or Cena, so, or Alibaba or any of that stuff right now. You should get them to give you $50,000 cash sent to your house.